Hi class, in this module we are going to discuss writing a little bit, and I'm going to present you with a class challenge. So as you know, as we've discussed throughout the semester, one of the tools that you're going to need to be a great researcher is the ability to write in a clear and concise way. And this is a case whether you are writing alone or in collaboration with others. Oftentimes when you're writing research papers or conducting large studies, you'll be doing that in collaboration with the team. And so one way to make that process more efficient is to use standard techniques. And so I hope that you have read Chapter 9 of Doing Developmental Research. If you have not read the chapter, now would be a great time to do so. And in fact, you're going to want to read it before completing your challenge. So I want you to pay close attention to the end section, the last section of that chapter, where I present you with a checklist for writing. And in many cases, these are tips to consider before submitting your paper to a journal. But in addition, there are several tips that I review to help you become more effective writers. And also these tips will help you to get your paper published. So what is your challenge? What we are going to do is, one, as I just mentioned, research is generally a collaboration. So I want you to collaborate with your classmates. You're going to get into groups that you will select on your own on Blackboard. Get into groups of 3 or 4 partners, and then you will select a team leader to write responses on Blackboard. And this is similar to what happens when you are doing a research study. Generally, you might be working with a team of 4 or 5 authors, but there's typically one person, let's say, who would be submitting the paper to the journal and who may be the author that the response from the journal would go to, etc. So you might consider that the team leader. So you might want to develop a name for your team and post that on Blackboard. And you will see on discussion board something that says writing class challenge. So what you're going to do is I'm challenging you to rewrite each of these sentences based upon the tips in doing developmental research. You might think, and it could be, that these sentences are all perfect as they are, that they cannot be improved upon. In which case, you would simply write the sentences on Blackboard just as you see them here. But if you think that based on the tips that you have read about, or even based upon your own writing skills, etc., if you think that these sentences could be changed, I want you to rewrite them on discussion board, where then there are 4 sentences here, and we're going to see if any group is able to improve upon each of these sentences in a way that the class thinks is perfect. So, maybe one group is able to improve upon sentence 2, but sentence 4, another group, let's say we think a different group has the best sentence. So let's get on to Blackboard, but before we do so, as I mentioned in doing developmental research, one way to be an effective writer is to read your work aloud. So I'm going to ask that you pause for 5 minutes now, and you read each of these sentences aloud on your own. You're then going to go to Blackboard and find your class partners, your teammates. Okay? We're going to now have a pause for 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to pretend that 5 minutes is up, And I am now going to read these sentences aloud. We selected to test infants across 3 cultures: Germany, Greece, and Italy. Sentence 2. Mothers were, on average, 30 years old. Standard deviation, 4.72. Range, 21 to 40 years. Sentences number 3. Prior to the start of the study, we arranged 4 toys on the high chair's tray as follows: a stuffed animal, a colored bear or a fish, a soft infant book, a toy piano, and a ball in a pail. The order of this placement was counterbalanced across participants. Item 4. Infant sat on a high chair directly in front of his or her mother, sitting across from the infant at eye level. Figure 1. Okay, I'm going to look for all of you on Blackboard.